Hey, good morning. Yes, today is the last day of the week. Today is Friday, January 3rd. So, what are we going to talk about today? I thought about talking about, everybody has New Year's resolutions, right? And everybody knows that most of them will never be followed through. They're pipe dreams, right? I tend to do it reality based. Is it something within my grasp? Is it something that I am going to continue doing? And is it something that is achievable? And that's what today's video is all about. Is having the right New Year's resolutions, having the right things to shoot for. So stay tuned. Alrighty, welcome back. My name is Eric, and yes, this is the weekday, Monday through Friday. It's been a hell of a week, right? But today is Friday. For most of you, it's the last day of the week. It is January 3rd, 2025, right? So, what are we talking about today? Well, you know, I watch on Facebook. I've got like 300, almost 400 friends, all right? I got more than that, but that's what's on my friends list. And everybody's making these New Year's resolutions that the bulk of them will never follow through on because they aren't willing to put the time, the effort into, or they're such crazy ass resolutions that even on your best day you couldn't accomplish it, right? And that's all about business too. Whether you're doing it part time, in your garage, in a shed out back, or running a repair shop, or a lawn care business, or any business, is if you're going to put, I call it undue hardships, which are unrealistic expectations on your business, then you're not going to follow through on them. Your business is not going to grow. You're not looking at, because let's say you have two different sets of New Year's resolutions. You have your personal, private, and then you have your business, all right? Your personal, private, most of them that I hear is I'm going to lose weight, I'm going to go to the gym more, I'm going to get healthier, they're saying they're getting, just like me, you're going to get healthier and you got a cigarette hanging out your mouth. I'm not against people smoking. I smoked since I was 17. And for most of you already know that I smoke 3.5 packs of cigarettes a day. And that my feeling on the topic, whether it's smoking, drinking, what have you, anything in excess is not good for you. And if you sit down and you don't eat a portion meal, you just start pigging out and you end up eating a whole pot of spaghetti, good chances are it's not healthy. But if you have a portion plate of spaghetti, it's good for you, right? And that's business is the same way. Portion. If you're shooting for the sky right out of the I'm trying to think. Still having problems up here. But it's where the horses come shooting out of the gates. All right. If you think these big grandiose resolutions are going to materialize, I got news for you. Can some dreams come true? Yeah. But for the most part, it's not because luck was involved. It's because the person was willing to put in the time and the effort. And that's what I see with most people when they fail or they don't achieve what they want to achieve. The tendency is they shoot too high, too far. instead of, it's not bad to have long-term goals because you really do need them, right? You need to know where you want to end up. But you also have to have those short-term goals. And as you're doing those short-term goals to achieve your long-term goal, understand, we talk about with time you get experience, good and bad, right? And from that good and bad, you develop wisdom. Now, let's say you're at the third short-term goal, and now you have the wisdom to say, okay, that long-term goal needs to be changed because what I've got for a long-term goal, based on what's going on with the markets, economy, disposable income, whatever it is, you can tweak it, change it, all right? If you just look at the long-term goal and you don't have anything in between, the tendency is you're not enjoying the journey. And if you've listened to some of my videos, you'll know that the journey is more important than reaching your goal. Let me say it again. The journey is more important than achieving that goal. Because if you don't enjoy the journey and you get to that goal that you had set out, you're going to be let down because now what? Big deal, I got here. And whereas if you had shorter term goals and you did take the time to enjoy the journey, it's like taking the kids to Disney World, and you live in New York and you're going to Florida, and you decide you're going to throw the kids in the vehicle and you're going to drive. Now, if you just nonstop drive and you got the kids running beside the vehicle trying to pee, my father did that. He did not want to stop, so he'd slow down, and you're trying to pee running, Then the idea that you're going to enjoy yourself isn't going to happen, right? Because you're under this stress. Oh, we got to get there so the kids can enjoy, Disney World, and the kids screaming and hollering, and you're stressing out. You're tag teaming with your better half of where you're driving nonstop. Now, what would have happened? Or what happened if you decided to drive so many miles a day, stop, spend the night at a motel, hotel with a pool so the kids could enjoy swimming, and there are other activities and other things along the way that you could stop and see, like the biggest thing of yarn or the tallest dinosaur thing or Popeye, you name it. If you can plot down through on your way to Disney World some really neat things to go see on the way, and doing things at the end of the day where the kids can enjoy the pools that are there, maybe some attraction, arcade games, this and that, isn't the journey going to be more memorable? Is it going to be a better fit for you than driving nonstop with kids screaming and then finally passing out and constantly saying, "Are we there yet?" Same thing with business. If you know where you want to end up, you can plot smaller goals to achieve, but also be able to enjoy things along the way, right? It's like telling somebody that can have all the ice cream in the world, and they loved ice cream, right? And now they can have all in the world that they want. And actually, they're told, you're going to start eating ice cream 3 meals a day. How long is it going to be before that person hates ice cream? I give them a week. And they are going to despise ice cream, and they will not eat it again. They may down the road, but they will be so sick of ice cream by the time the week is up And that kind of describes a lot when it comes to business and goals. If you receive too much of a good thing, then you're not going to appreciate it as much. Now take that same person with the ice cream. That in order to have the ice cream, they needed to do certain X, Y, and Z where they had to put forth an effort to get that ice cream. Now, would that ice cream be more enjoyable then than having it for 3 meals a day, 7 days a week? Yes. Would the trip to Disney World be better if you enjoyed the journey and your kids weren't stressing out and the kids were looking forth, towards the end of the day where they could stop, they could spend the night at a different motel, they could swim, they could do. And by the time you got to Disney World in Florida, you guys were all stressed out. And I can tell you right now, if you've done that driving nonstop, by the time you get there, you're going to hate being there. And it's going to be a trudge trying to get the kids through Disney World. Pack all your stuff up and come back. And you're going to spend 2 weeks when you get home just trying to recuperate and start feeling better than what you were on that whole trip, right? But that's why we say you have to enjoy the journey. Now, going back to the resolutions, when it comes to business, taking on more work, that's okay. But you on a personal level have to define that a lot more. What do you mean by taking on more work? What kind of work? How are you going to get that work? Where's that work going to come from? And these are all questions that are good questions, that are valid questions that you should be asking yourself and then finding out the answers to them, right? And then once you start to develop answers, then you can start developing short-term goals on how do I do that? And the same holds true for making more money for the business. Been there, done that, wore the t-shirt. See, I was all about money at one time, okay? And didn't matter how much we grew and how much more money came in, I wasn't content. I wanted more. And I wanted more. And I wanted more. And I wasn't enjoying the journey. Yes, the business was doing fantastic. We were taking on more and more, hiring more people, but I was still not content. It's okay to be content, okay? You need to be content along the way so that you kind of recuperate, right? But what I'm getting at is if you're strictly doing it because you want more money, you're never going to have enough because you're going to want more. And then when you reach a plateau and it starts going the other way because of the business environment, supply and demand, competition, you name it. And it starts to wane and it starts going down. What's going to happen to you that's all about the money? You're going to become upset, pissed at times. You're going to have to start laying off people, terminating people, what have you. And you really didn't enjoy the journey because you kept wanting more and more and more, right? Whereas my tendencies are to enjoy the journey. I enjoy my customers. Are there customers from hell? Yes. But for the most part, I have really good customers. Did I have really good customers in the beginning? No, because that's part of learning. When I first started out, I was taking any and every customer I could get just to bring work through the door. And Did I take a loss? Yes. Did I learn a valuable lesson or two? Yes. One is not every customer is one that you want. But when you're first starting out, you feel like you can't afford not to have that customer, right? So you're bending over backwards for customers that don't appreciate what you're doing anyways. And we're constantly screaming and hollering. It's constant turmoil. And you start hating your job. But that's the starting point for most of us. Now, if you're doing it nights and weekends, you can kind of pick and choose, right? Because you don't need the money. You don't need the income. It's nice, but it's not worth it to deal with customers from hell, right? But if you're starting an actual business and you're hoping to get enough income from that business to support you, that's the other thing that you're going to run into. I know for me, the first couple of years, we didn't have enough income coming in to support one and let alone two. And I was drawing from savings that I had. And it took a while before we really started turning that corner of going the other direction of where I could start taking money from the business and not profiting by it, but putting back into those coffers that I had stole from in the beginning. It got me back to break even. That first profitable year that we did well, it got me back to even. Some would say, well, you profited big money. No, you didn't. Because if you're drawing from your savings, retirement, what have you, to try to start this business, or you got a loan that you just took out, paying that back is not big money. Now, the second year we were doing really well. What I ended up doing was reinvesting most of it back into the business because I wanted growth. I wanted more money, right? So the only way I can get more money is to increase growth. I'm happier now than I was then. And what's the difference? The difference is now is I'm not chasing the money. I'm enjoying the ride. I'm enjoying the customers. I'm enjoying the camaraderie with them and Claude. I'm enjoying doing the videos and having time to do them. To teach you, to teach others how to accomplish the things that you want out of life with no strings attached. Not asking for money, not asking for squat. Given freely. And I mention this in every video I do. Whatever I tell you is strictly advice, all right? If I told you exactly how I did it and you tried to replicate it, good chances are you couldn't do it, all right? So you need to make it your own. But there's nothing wrong with taking some of my advice and taking what you can use to make it your mantra to march to. So you're not taking it all. You're just taking what you can use. And I'm okay with that. Really, I am. Because I want you to succeed at whatever in life you want, whether it's your personal life or your business life. And the other thing I'm going to stress to you right now is you have to find that balance between your personal and your business, okay? A lot of us don't find it until years down the road. And that's sad, all right? Because nobody was there teaching us how to do both. I am. if you ask me what's more important to me, I'm going to say my family, my friends, and my customers. And my customers are my friends. All right? And my family's going to come first and the business second. There for a long time, the business was first and everything else was second. And I missed out on a lot. And I'm trying to tell you right now, don't follow my footsteps. Follow your own mantra, but you need to find that balance between work and home. You need to have time to do things with your family. And the other thing that you need to learn how to do is when business is done at the end of the day, you shut it off when you go home. And if you work till 5 o'clock, shut it off at 5 o'clock, go home. I learned that trait when I worked at the mines. All right? And you have to have been there to understand. But we were underground miners. You tend to be very close, all right? Because you have to have each other's back. And each other is depending upon one another, right? It's a very dangerous environment. There's a lot of things that can go wrong in a hurry. And if you're hurt, you have to rely on your coworkers to get you where you need to go, right? So whether we were at work or enjoying life with family and friends, we were a tight group, tight-knit group, okay? But one of the things that we all learned in a hurry was you had your home life and you had your work life, right? And you didn't take your home life to work and you didn't take your work to home. And why was that important? Well, you didn't want to take your work home because you didn't want to... I didn't want my wife to worry about me constantly. If she knew of all the close calls and everything, and I mean, she did see the bumps and bruises and everything else. But she wasn't worrying on a constant basis. And had she known the environment that we were working in, she would have. And the same thing with taking your home life to work. You have to shut it off because you are in a dangerous environment. And the last thing you want to be doing is thinking about something else instead of what you're doing. And that's how I want you to approach your business and your home life. Is that you can't allow them to spill over into each other, all right? If you're having a bad day at work, shut it down there and come home and fill yourself with good things by enjoying time with family and friends. And the same thing if you're having a bad day at home and you and your better half get into an argument and it isn't cleared up by the time you go to work, shut it down, go to work, put in a good day's work, and when you get done work, shut it down, and hopefully you'll have come up with a good reason. You need to apologize and come back together so that things are good on both ends. All right, so I'm going to start wrapping this up. But the end goal, the end result is when you have New Year's resolutions, they have to be attainable, all right? And most that I see aren't. And everybody knows that they're not going to follow through anyways. So with the new year here, those are the things that make it attainable. Enjoy the journey. Plot out your course. Have waypoints. Understand that the end goal could change. And also understand if you don't enjoy the journey and you get to the end goal, you're not going to be happy because the question of now what? You're not going to enjoy getting there. And that's where most people lose out. And that's why a lot of resolutions aren't attainable, because they don't understand that if they just enjoy the journey to where they want to get. See, if you want to lose weight, there's a lot of ways you can do it and enjoy yourself along the way. And that's getting with friends and maybe doing dances or what have you. Or hanging out at the gym with two of your besties and making it something that three of you are kind of giving each other cheerleading, but you're enjoying spending time with each other as well. That's enjoying the journey. So you guys enjoy Friday, the last day of the week. Give her some thought. And I'm sure I'll have a video out this weekend, but if not, I'll see you bright and early Monday morning for the next episode of The Weekday. Last word, enjoy the journey.